Our speaker today is also a fabulous person. She is a practitioner here, and you know, the practitioners are the healing arm of this center. I'm so grateful for all our practitioners, and I'm so grateful for Dianne, because she said yes to be our speaker on the second Sunday of every month, and she brings wonderful energy. She's a powerful lawyer. I'm always relieved that when I was getting custody of my child, she was not the lawyer for my husband. Because I know she's a super powerful lawyer.
That's why I need to talk to you. That's quite a compliment.
You want to win and do more justice.
Now we won't go there now. I just loved it, and so much for so many reasons. She has beautiful children, yes, you've seen. She's a wonderful mom, and she's a wonderful teacher. She's taught classes here for many years, and some of you have had the privilege of having her as a teacher. Please join me in welcoming Dianne.
Wow. So good morning.
Good morning.
And I'm really grateful to be here today. I'm really thankful that you're here to share this process of transformation and change. So I want to tell you, first of all, that you are here by divine appointment. So thank you for showing up for your appointment. Because we're here together, we're called together. You may think that your husband brought you, or you may think that your wife brought you, or it's because you're kids, or because you're here to support someone, but you're here by divine appointment. And the other thing that you get to do is sit by your husband, or sit by your wife, or your friend, or support someone, is just the byproduct of your presence. Because you're here to transform yourself and in turn transform the world. The question is, how willing are you to say yes? Right? Because saying yes to transformation means that you have to say yes to a full overhaul of your life. You have to say yes to getting up off the couch. You have to say yes to changing the way you show up. You have to say yes to altering your thought process. You have to say yes to challenging your own belief system. You have to say a very big yes in order to allow the transformation to happen in your life. Now, you've already called it forth, which is why you're here. You get connected to people, you get connected to situations, and you end up in a place, and you're like, how did this happen? Why am I here? Well, you're here because you called it forth. So you are here today, whether you are here live or you're listening to a recording in some other time period, you're here by divine appointment. You've called it forth. The challenge that many of us have is the courage that it takes and the willingness to be continuously engaged in change and growth and unfoldment. That requires work, and it's not the kind of physical work that you may be used to. It's not the kind of stuff that says, oh yeah, I get up every day and I go to work and I do my job, and at the end of the day I come home and I take the trash out and I do all the things I'm supposed to do, so I'm a good worker, everything is in order in my life. It's not that kind of work. It's the work that requires you to go deep within your own soul and go in there and unleash yourself and release the truth of who you are. That requires you to go against the grain. It requires you to go against what has been taught to you, what society says. It requires you to go against the way you have been living, which you may believe is your belief system, right? It's the belief system that says, this is how I am in the world. This is how I show up. And you got to challenge that if you want to transform and change. Now, I want to just make a little side note before I go any further about this topic and really point out to you that if you have already been exposed to these teachings and if you have already been exposed to truth, you already know that's what you need to do to change, transform, and unfold your life. The question is, are you willing to get up and do it? And then here's what my teacher said the other day, and I fell out of my chair laughing out loud. Because he says, if you know, my teacher is Michael Bernard Beckwith, and he says, if you know all of this stuff and you are not putting it into action in your life, you have spiritual constipation. And I was like, yes! And I was so in alignment with that and so in agreement with that, because the truth is, if you know that your life isn't working, if you know that you're really not happy, if you know that all you're doing is laying on the couch, and you've had glimpses of truth, glimpses of happiness, moments when you felt in complete joy and alignment, when you were having the conversation about God and life and creativity and genius, and then you choose to go back into that place of inactivity, you're spiritually constipated. And you know you are, because it's rattling around in your head, it's rattling around in your beingness, and you're on lockdown. You cannot, there's no movement in your life. Everything is staying the same because you are choosing to stay the same and not choosing to remain in the willingness, not choosing to remain in the growing, not choosing to remain in the transformation, right? And the constipation that he was talking about comes from the fact that all of this stuff is there and you know it, and it's blocked, it's blocked, it's blocked. There's a blockage. The blockage is your unwillingness to get up and be courageous and constant and consistent. You got to be dedicated to the vision of truth that you've been exposed to. Many of us know the truth. We talk about it. We talk about who God is. We tell everybody that'll listen, and we get into conversations with people all the time about God this, God that, God these things. We do it, right? And then we go home and we don't do anything in our own lives. Like, we believe in health and wholeness, and we know that if we eat well and if we exercise and if we move, that is going to keep our body temple physically healthy. And then we go home and we eat ice cream. And we have a pint in the refrigerator that's always on hand. And we do those things, and then we are like coming back out and talking, right? So you're in this dual existence. So you're talking about the truth that you know, but your life is expressing a different thing. You're talking about knowing that you can create your own life and you can create your own way of being in the world, with the world, as a part of the world, but you're doing something different. You are in dual existence, and the goal is to bring yourself into alignment so that you're in alignment with what you know, with how you're living and how you're expressing in the world. So you're not just walking around a container of teachings. You're an expression of truth. And then when you're an expression of truth, you blast into full transformation, into a whole different way of being in the world. So it's no longer about talking about justice. It's about showing up as an expression of justice. It's no longer about talking about love. It's really about showing up as an expression of love. It's no longer about talking about what a great friend you are. It's showing up as a great friend. So you don't have to talk about it because you're a demonstration of this absolute truth of all that is. It's no longer about saying that life is an expression of abundance and creative genius. It's about showing up and being abundance and creative genius. It's about showing up and expressing absolutely the truth that you know. Now, how are you going to do that if you're wrapped up in spiritual constipation? I love that phrase. But you're going to do that by getting up and getting off your butt and taking one step at a time and stepping into the truth. And it's not impossible to change your life. You are not sentenced to where you are. There is no such thing. A lot of people believe that they are sentenced to living the life they're living. What do I mean by that? This is the way, this is, and if you just for a minute think about how you talk to yourself. This is how I am. I'm not that smart. I'm not that creative. I'm not artistic. No, I really am not organized. And we say things to ourselves to limit our possibilities. I'm not athletic. I'm not athletic. I'm not. Here was one that I used to always tell myself. I'm not creative. I used to always tell myself, oh no, I'm a left brain kind of gal. You know, I'm not too much over there on the right brain. I'm not an artist. I sing, but you know, I'm not like a opera singer or a soloist or, you know, I'm pretty good alto, but I'm not creative. I don't. And then I started hearing myself say to myself what I'm not, instead of saying to myself what I am. I started hearing myself saying what I am not capable of instead of what I am capable of. So I started telling myself, but I am creative. I am creative in my own special way. And I am creative because I can create beauty and art and joy. I can create peacefulness. I can create an energetic of love. I am creative, and I started telling myself that. And then all of a sudden I find myself creating classes, creating ways to be in group, creating ways to be with my children, and all of a sudden, bam, I'm creative. How'd that happen? I believed. I started telling myself something different about what was not working in my life. I started telling myself, oh, I wasn't, and everybody knows the story about me. I'm not athletic, I'm not into all this active stuff. I had somehow talked myself into this belief system that I wasn't this thing. And then I started exercising, and I started running, and I started really walking around the block, and then just got up off the couch one morning and said, enough is enough, get up. And I started walking around the couch, and I started around the block. I got off the couch. Listen, if that's where you have to start, then start walking around the couch. Pull it out in the middle of the living room. Do what you gotta do, right? So I got up off the couch in my house, and it was 26 degrees outside, and I was tired. I was what you call sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was tired of hearing myself. I was tired of feeling lethargic. I was just tired of hearing the tape that was playing in my head. Now, some of us get tired and we just hunker down and go deeper. More ice cream, more blankets on the couch. But some of us will say, I'm tired. Everybody has that ability to say, I'm tired. I don't want this anymore. Time is moving through, and my existence on this planet as Dianne is coming to a close, right? Every day. And what am I doing with the time that I'm in right now as Dianne in this physical body is up to me. So I decided to get up, and I got up off the couch, and I did. I walked around the block. It was 26 degrees. It was too cold. But I did. Something was moving in me because I had been having conversations with my inner self about it's time to change, it's time to get up, it's time to get up. And I didn't know how to get up. I didn't know how to change. But I got up. And I got up and walked around the block. And then over time, extended the walk, extended the walk, extended the walk, till the walk became a jog, and the jog became a run. And the next thing I knew, I was gearing up for the 5K. You know, and it's about changing, and now it's a way of life for me that if I go more than 2 days without going outside to run and be out in energetic of my own body, doing, moving, acting, being, I feel the difference. I feel heavy. I feel weighted down, and I don't mean physically heavy. I mean there is a weighting in my spirit that has me off center because I've created a way of being in the world that's about being alive. It's about being in nature. It's about breathing and running and moving the body temple. And in that creative experience, I have created a new way, transformed the way that I show up in the world. I'm no longer a sit on the couch kind of gal watching the news. Get up off your butt and go on out and get moving. That's who I am. And so every day I transform myself in a new way, in a new truth, in a new being. So the question is, how do we transform ourselves into the spiritual truth of what we already know? Because we already know that we are created in the image and likeness of God. We already know that we are divine, magnificent beings. We all know it. We were taught it, but we know it intuitively, that we are one with the power and presence. We know this. So now, how are we going to act like it? When you are created, because if you have whatever your vision of God is, it has something to do with great. It has something to do with magnificent. It has something to do with omniscient, omnipowerful, omnipresent. If you are created out of the image and likeness of God, that means you are the very substance of that which created you. So creative genius is the order of your life. Beauty, magnificence, wholeness, abundance. That is the order of who you are. That is what you are created out of. So how do you get up and start to express that as a part of your being? How do you get up and start to express it? You have to start by listening first to yourself and what you're telling yourself. And then you got to go within and find that inner place where you can just reside in silence and slowly turn off the chatter. Some of us, most of us, have a running tape in our minds about how life is and who we are. And it's playing in the background, even when you're not listening, because you've so conditioned yourself to be that person, to show up in that way, that in your mind it's playing, the tape is playing, and you're just acting, behaving, and being from that place. There is no person that cannot change themselves. There is no person that cannot become more of who they are. The change is not to become something else. It's to become who you are. The transformation is not to become, I don't want to become Khadijah. My transformation is to become more and more Dianne. More and more of who I am, what I am, and how I came to be. And if I know absolutely the background truth, I am created in the image and likeness of that which created me. I'm substance of God. What is God? Love, joy, harmony, omnipresent, omniscient, powerful, creator, and creation itself. And so if I am created out of that very substance, then what I can do is limitless. What I can do as an expression of all of that has no bounds. The only bounds that are there are the ones that I have in my head. The only bounds that are there are the ones that say, I can't. If I hear myself saying, I can't, I don't, I am now in limitation. And I have shut down my possibilities. So what are my possibilities? In class, we're teaching in financial freedom, we're talking all the time, every day. What are your possibilities? We have possibility partners, and we're calling each other and we're saying, what are your possibilities for today? And we're breathing life into the possibility that we can be more, do more, show up more, grow more, and actually have the life that we desire. What is it that you desire? Tap into that truth. You have to become aligned with who you are, listen to what you're telling yourself, and you got to start erasing the tape. You got to start erasing the tape. You cannot have the tape stored anywhere to tap back into it later. You got to just start cleaning it out. Stop telling yourself that you're limited. Stop telling yourself that you're not smart. Stop telling yourself that you can't have. And really start to believe, I can have all that my heart desires. So what does that mean? Is that some sort of, I'm not talking about I can have the lottery, by the way. Okay, that's not where we're going. We're talking about what does your heart truly desire to express as yourself. What is Alex here to do? What is Dianne here to do? Am I here to just simply be this? Am I working to go out to pasture and then die? Is that the presence? Is that the sum total of my being? Or am I here to be joy-filled, love-filled, harmonious? Am I here to be a perfect divine expression of that which created me? Which means that I am here to change the world. The world is different because I am here. And the question is, what am I doing? What am I doing to unleash, release my true self? Or am I staying in the limited space of, this is all I can do, this is all I'm capable of, and then I guess I'll retire and die? Is that what you want for yourself? I mean, really stop and think about, what do I want for myself? What do I want out of life? I was talking to my mother on the phone. My mother, I said, Mommy, what do you really want? And she said, I want to see the world. I want to see places that I haven't been before. And I said, okay, so we're not going to Jamaica next year. And she was like, oh, okay, let's do that. You know, and she stopped for me, but she didn't hesitate, because in her life now, where she's gotten in her own personal understanding of herself, she has a desire that she wants to fulfill. And so she's putting herself in a posture to achieve and accomplish that desire by being willing to step outside of the box that she's been living in and erase the edges and blow through all of the seeming barriers and impossibilities, and she's ready to go for it, and go be somewhere else, go see something else, go do something different. That's what she wants at almost 80 years old. She has a desire. She's not just, and she's putting it into play. That's the thing, right, about the desire. When you have the desire is not a dream. I'm not talking about piped dreams. I'm talking about, what do you really want for your life? What is calling you from within your soul? Most of us are being called for love, companionship, harmony, peace, a place to be in community, not just community in here, but community in general, in your home life, in your work life, to be in a harmonious place. Most of us are calling forth abundance. What is abundance? It is a state of having everything that is necessary for your life so that you want for nothing, so that you're completely clear that all needs are met early and on time, right? So you're in that place and you want to transform that, and that's the truth of what's calling you. Now, what are the measurable steps that you can take? You want to take spiritual steps, first of all. You want to align yourself with prayer, a prayer that affirms, a prayer, the Jesus the Christ prayer that affirms, believing you have already received. That kind of prayer. Not a begging, beseeching, hoping that one day in the future I might get, but a real alignment with the prayer, the Christ consciousness that says, I already have everything that I need to unfold my life in magnificence. It is all within me, and I am willing to activate it. So when I pray from a place of affirmation, I am saying I am willing to activate it. So when I say, and so it is, I am saying I'm willing to step into that, and so it is vibration. Amen, amen, let it be. I'm willing to say, I'm willing to step into that vibration and be there and be in the living of my life, in the living of a life that's not meant for a future living, but a present tense living. I'm happy to be in joy, so I go into prayer. I go into meditation. Meditation, I take time to be still, really be still. And I'm willing to give it a shot, not just say, I'm going to try for 10 minutes, and it didn't work because I had to think about work and what I had to do next. But really say, I'm willing to try meditation for 30 days and create a new habit. I'm willing to try prayer, affirmative prayer for 30 days, and create a new way of communing with the divine. I am willing to be in prayer, to be in meditation. I am willing to actively engage in conscious presence, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. I'm willing to see the day as a good day, no matter what the appearances are. I'm willing to see it as a good day because I'm alive, I'm awake, and I'm here and present in the life that I'm living. And I start to shift my awareness. I start to shift my focus. I start to shift my consciousness and the way that I show up to be an expression of what it is that I truly desire. I start to create a life that allows me what I truly desire. Real story. I'm in a place in my life right now where professionally everything is going extremely well, exceedingly well. And I'm getting an offer from someone out in far North Maryland to work, which would mean that I would pack up everything here because I certainly can't drive 2 hours to work every day and back and mother my children and do all the other things. I would have to pack up everything and move there. And it's really tempting because what it means is a steady paycheck, right? Which means that I don't have to be doing self-employment budgeting. You know, I don't have to worry about entrepreneurial existence. It would mean that. And I sat there and I thought, well, it's less expensive to live out there, buy a house, kids can play outside, Madison likes the woods, Mackenzie would adjust, we can get dance classes, and I had this whole plan, right? Like, how can I make this work? Because I am one to always contemplate all the possibilities. Is this a possibility for my life? And I sat with it, and then I thought about, well, what are the other factors that are involved in saying yes to that idea? Because it's an external idea, it's not an internal idea. Is it aligned with my truth for my life? Is it aligned with what it is that I truly desire? And I sat down with that contemplation. What do I truly desire for my life? And as I sat in that sort of existential awareness, I came into the conclusion and the alignment that that's the exact thing that I speak, that I do not want to activate in my life, which is taking a job, right, and building an experience so I can go out to pasture. Because if I'm 2 hours away y'all are not seeing. That would just be too much work for me to do every day, to come down here. I would be leaving my beloved community. I would not be showing up to do the things that I've called forth in my life. What have I called forth in my life? A place to pray, to teach, to share, to walk with others as they are walking into their own true way of being. What have I called forth? A place to tap into a spiritual community that supports me and my children. I've called forth this idea that I can be in my quote-unquote profession, and I can also do the spiritual work that I have come to do. If I say yes to an external idea that does not support what is in my soul, I am going to have what? Spiritual constipation. Because I'm going to get out there and have a regular paycheck and be like, woo, all the bills are paid, yes. And I'm all by myself. And I'm not in the community I desire. And the support that I have created for my children, co-created with a beloved community, not just in this community, but in the schools that they attend and in the neighborhood. All of those things will be uprooted, damaged, and destroyed. And what will I do? I will be getting ready for pasture. Actually, I'll probably be living in pasture because it's all the way out there. And that's not what I'm choosing for my life. What I'm choosing for my life is the opportunity and the desire to be living fully, not just expressing one aspect of my life. That was the other thing that got me. I would be over there lawyering my heart out. And the rest of who I am and all of my creative genius would be like, once a month we're going to DC, you know? And I don't want that. That's not what I'm choosing for myself. That's not my soul's call. So what is your soul's call? What are you being called to do? Because quite honestly, in my saying yes to the soul's call that I have this magnificent life where I get to be in alignment in every area of my life, because all the people in my other job know who I am. They know that. They see me now and they're like, happy Sunday, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, happy Friday. This is Curdy Guards where I work, because that's who I am. I bring myself everywhere I go, and I don't come and I don't show up in this place compartmentalized from this place. I'm in alignment. And I'm choosing to be in alignment with the truth of who I am and to be able to live this life so fully, so magnificently, so that at the end of whatever this experience is that I'm in as Dianne, I can say, well done. And I don't have, I wish I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I did, and boy, was that fun. And I want to know that every aspect of my life, even in the challenges, even in the times when it feels like, oh my God, I can't get through this, I know absolutely that's just an appearance. And the truth is that I am aligned with power. I am aligned with magnificent genius. I am aligned with order. I am aligned with peace and abundance and harmony. I am aligned with the truth of who I am. I am created out of magnificence. So my life therefore expresses as magnificence. There is no place absolutely where the power and presence of God does not exist. It is right where you are. It is right where you are. It is right where you are. Absolutely right there, right now. Stand up and be in the presence of God and be that expression of dynamic, radiant goodness, because that is who you are. And anything else that goes against that grain, anything else that expresses outside of that is not a truth. It's just a belief system that you've created around something that's not even real. The truth of who you are is a magnificent being that's being breathed by the breath of God, that's having its beingness as a perfect expression, substance and source of all of who you are. And when you get into that alignment, you will show up every day in your life as that truth. And it's okay. This is not a beat yourself up process. It's okay for you to falter. It's okay for you to be human and not have your most stellar spiritual moment around certain things. It's okay. You forgive yourself, like the reading said. You forgive yourself. You let yourself off the hook and you keep it moving. Because who you are is magnificent. You're here to change. You are here to grow. You are here to transform into more of your true self and bring it. So just give yourself permission to stand in your own dynamic self, to stand in your own magnificence, to change the things about your life that's not honoring the truth of who you are. Give yourself permission. Forgive yourself for all the other stuff and keep it moving. Keep it moving, growing, transforming, and unfolding, because that is what you're here to And you are absolutely necessary to this world as it exists right now. There is no person here that's irrelevant. You are necessary, you are important. It is important that you're here, and what you particularly came to give is an important and necessary gift for the complete transformation of the human race. So show up and do your thing, because whatever you do ripples and radiates out into the world. It is truth, absolute truth, and it changes everyone and everything. So do your thing, and be willing to do your thing. Be willing to get up off your butt and do the thing that you've come to do, because your kindness, your love, your joy, your peace, your gift, your thing is necessary for this planet to continue to be all that it came to be. So be willing to be that. Be willing.